Alright, we're having a little social distancing back to school in my yard party tonight. And I promised to make something chocolate, so I thought this would be a really good time to make my famous chocolate chip cookies. And let me tell you, my son's swim team goes nuts when I walk in with my little carrier when they know that it's chocolate chip cookies. Sometimes I add M&Ms to them, sometimes I add peanut butter chips to them. It just depends on the day and my mood. But today we're just going straight chocolate chip. In my mixer, I have a cup and a half of butter flavored shortening. Turn it up just a little bit, kind of letting it mix. It's awfully hot in here, y'all. I'm canning tomato sauce right now. So, you know, if I pass out, don't worry about it. I'll get back up in a minute. I'm adding 1 1/4 cups of loosely packed brown sugar and 1 1/4 cups of white sugar. And there is no other way to say that because you don't pack white sugar. It's just white sugar. I think I dropped a piece because it seems like Truffle's looking for it. So I'm going to turn this up just a little bit so that it can mix just a little bit better. You want to let those sugars and that shortening really incorporate really well. And we like soft cookies in our house, so I'm going to show you how I make mine soft, and that part of that is using the butter flavored shortening. You can use butter instead of the butter flavored shortening, and you can get the crispy cookies, and you can get less soft cookies by using a mixture of butter and shortening. It just depends on your taste, to be honest. So, got that really mixed well. It's kind of looking like a big dough ball already in the middle. And I am adding to that 3 eggs, one at a time. Let them mix in. I did not grab a rubber spatula. Because I like to scrape the sides just to make sure that everything's getting nice and mixed in. Okay, so there's 1 egg. Here's 2 eggs. She's getting all kinds of nosy. And here's 3 eggs. I'll let those incorporate really well. Make sure all that stuff gets pulled off the sides. You always want to make sure that everything's getting blended in when you're doing this. Otherwise, you could end up with some really weird, wonky cookies. Okay. Now, I'm going to add to that 2 teaspoons of vanilla. I'm actually just going to pour it in my little tablespoon measure here. It's not going to be a tablespoon, it's going to be 2 teaspoons. There we go. Remember, use the good vanilla. Use the good stuff. Don't buy that imitation vanilla stuff. You want real vanilla extract, okay? Pure vanilla extract. You'll spend a little more money, but I promise you your taste buds are worth it. She's digging for something over there, isn't she? Okay. Now, the next thing I'm going to add to my liquid mixture may sound a little weird, but I promise you it makes a big difference. I have here a 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, and it is dissolved in a 1.5 teaspoons of hot water. And that goes in my liquid ingredients. It really helps with the rising of your cookies. Now, for my dry ingredients, I have 3 1/4 cups of cake flour. Cake flour makes a softer cookie. You can use all-purpose flour and your cookies won't be as soft. They'll help you if you're going to be doing that. All-purpose flour will be good for making those crunchy cookies that some people like. And then I've got 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and I'm adding 1.5 teaspoons of salt. And I'm just going to mix this all in together really well. And like I've said before in other videos, I don't usually sift unless I really notice that I've got giant clumps, because I feel like I can just take this whisk and mix all that together and and it does a really good job of incorporating the air and breaking up the clumps like a sifter would. I have a sifter. It's actually my mama's sifter that she's had that all my life. I just never use it. Okay, slow that down. We don't want a flour cloud. Add my dry ingredients a little bit at a time. Y'all, that hissing sound you hear is not a snake. It is my pressure cooker processing those tomatoes. And as soon as these on the counter get ripe, I'll be processing them too, along with whatever I pick here in a few minutes. Have to pick them while they're a little bit green still, because we have rabbits like crazy, and rabbits like tomatoes. Did you know that? They do. So if I pick them while they're still a little bit green, the rabbits don't get to them as much, and then they can ripen on the counter, and do my thing. I haven't even made salsa yet this year. I got to get to that too, but that's for another day. Maybe I'll do a video on salsa. That'd be fun. Okay, so I don't know where my scissors went, so I'm using a knife. I'm adding an entire package of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Now that all of my flour, my dry stuff is incorporated. But y'all, I like chocolate chip cookies. So, we're going to add another half a cup of chocolate chips. I still see some dough in there. We don't want to see that much dough. So I'm going to add another half a cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. You can do like I've done before. You can do half and half M&Ms and chocolate chips, or you can do half and half chocolate chips and peanut butter chips. Where am I going to put that? Here we go. Well, there's something else for Truffle to investigate. Now, I like to line my pans with parchment paper. It helps in the cooking. What did you do, Chris? It doesn't cover the whole pan. Okay, that part's done. I'm gonna scrape down my Truffle. She keeps rolling in between me and the counter. I think she's looking for scraps. She knows that when I'm right up here, I'm usually cutting something up or peeling something or chopping something. Or Chris is in here cutting up apples. She loves apples. I think she could almost be a vegetarian with the amount of fruits and things that she likes to eat. So, now, here's the way I do it. I just take a couple of spoons, take a scoop. My oven's at 350, by the way. I don't know if I said that yet, but I don't think I did. Couple spoons, lay them all out. Nice little blobs. Those are gonna be big, y'all. They're gonna end up touching each other while they bake. That's okay, as long as they don't overtake each other. I'll have some treats for when I come home from work this week, because I go back to work tomorrow. See, the first time the whole staff has been in the building together since March. I didn't even get to do the whole build up to spring break because somebody shared the flu with me, and then I got pneumonia because of it too, so I missed the last couple days of school before spring break. And when my daughter and I went in there to rearrange some things and clean some things up, my calendar that you can change the day and the date and everything on my desk, it still said March 13th. That kind of broke my heart a little bit. But there were all these sweet little notes on my board from kids telling me how much they love me, so that's fun. Anyway, I'm going to put these in the oven 12 to 13 minutes. Little trick, okay? When it comes to these cookies, don't wait until they're brown to take them out. When you start seeing brown on the edges, that's when you take them out, because they're going to have to sit for a couple of minutes on this pan. You will not be able to move them until they've sat on this pan for a couple of minutes. Then you can put them on your cooling racks and let them finish the cooling process. So I'll see y'all when I've got a pan of these done. Okay, 13 minutes later, it's time to change out the cookie sheets. Set that timer. I hate it when I put cookies or something in, especially when you have to do it one right after the other and I forget to set the timer on one. It throws my whole day. So, you see how they're just getting brown around the edges. Not the whole cookie is brown. If your whole cookie is brown, it's actually burnt, especially when it has to sit here for a couple more minutes because this pan is still very hot. So, once I can take these up, I'll come back and show you what they look like when they're sitting over here cooling, okay? Now it's time to take these cookies off of here, move them over here so they can finish the cooling process so that they will be nice and ready to eat this evening. I honestly really love this recipe, and my family does, and my kids' friends do. I actually use this same recipe for a lot of Benjamin's birthday parties. He wanted a cookie cake, and I use this same recipe to actually make a cookie cake, and it turns out so nice, especially when you cook it just a little bit longer so that it gets just a little drier. They turn out so good. So I hope you guys try this recipe because we really like it. A lot of my friends that have tried it really like it. And if you do try it, let me know. I hope you enjoy it. Y'all take care.